This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. We are the only show in the metro area devoted to the growth and development of the metro area. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, Omaha's premier body shop, and then also Omaha's premier roofing company, D&M Roofing, working on both commercial and residential roofs. And without any further ado, it's time to introduce my co-host, a man I like to refer to as a legendary real estate deal maker, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Jeff. A bit of sad news.
Yeah, let's start off with that.
A little sad news, and then it's all up from here, ladies and gentlemen. But actually, it's a time for celebration to the life of a dear friend and community stakeholder and someone who made a huge difference during his almost 70 years, too short of a life, Greg Cutshall. He was founder and CEO of Cutshall Management Company. Just to give you an idea of the impact that he had on thousands of lives, and great father, grandfather, brother, and friend. And Greg, at the time of his passing this week, he had 44 restaurants. And just to give you an idea, he started with KFC. He did a national marketing program for them. He had 14 KFCs, 12 Popeyes, 13 Sonics, 10 Famous Dave's, 14 Paradise Bakeries, 4 Tin Stars, 1 Rock Bottom, Lolo's Chicken, 3, 4 Egg and Eyes, 6 First Watches, 17 Domino's, 2 Twin Peaks, 3 Julio's, and he also owned Jam's American Grill, and the list goes on and on. And so we will miss you, Greg. He was loved by all, and I'm going to go to the funeral this morning, which will be sad as well, but I think after the mourning period that everyone should celebrate the life of Greg Cutshall and go patronize. His family and partners will still own the restaurants, and we'll go on from there.
And he was a multi-time guest over the years on Grow Omaha.
Absolutely. He was great.
Well, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. EagleMortgageCompany.com is where you find them virtually. If you want to find them in person, it's 114th and Davenport. Why do you want to find them? Because they do a great job with conventional FHA and VA loans. So if you're thinking about getting a new house, talk to Eagle Mortgage. Get that pre-approval letter. Meet with one of their mortgage originators so you know how the process is going to work and what you're going to be doing. And then start your house search with a peace of mind that you want. They'll take good care of you. EagleMortgageCompany.com. All right, on the docket, first of all, Trenton, the Omaha City Council this week approved a redevelopment plan that would make way for the Mutual of Omaha skyscraper and some other related things. We've talked about this a little bit in the past couple of weeks when it was thrown out there. It's a 138-page redevelopment agreement, but basically, in a nutshell, it talks about the tower. It talks about the city owning the $99 million 2,200 stall parking garage related to it. It maps out how Mutual of Omaha can get the block immediately to the east, which was once part of Jean Leahy Mall and is now being used as construction staging area. And it also talks about how there'll be a land swap with Mutual and its developer getting the W. Dale Clark Library site in exchange for the city taking back ownership of the old Union Pacific headquarters lot.
Just north of the current one at 14th and Dodge.
Yeah, that's right. And so that's all full speed ahead. Of course, the streetcar is also mentioned many times in that redevelopment agreement, and the city continues to make a lot of milestones for the streetcar. In fact, within the last week, the first meeting of the new streetcar authority was held, and so that's kind of getting underway and getting going. The other thing that was kind of interesting this week related to this set of projects was that it came out that the total redevelopment investment for the Mutual of Omaha skyscraper, as well as the eventual redevelopment, whatever that looks like, redevelopment of the existing Mutual of Omaha campus, would likely exceed $1 billion. The skyscraper itself has been upgraded from an estimated $443 million investment to a $600 million investment. Yes, I guess those supply chain shortages are real. And the other estimate is that for perhaps $400 million of redevelopment and construction and investment on the current, soon-to-be old Mutual campus.
I remember when $1 billion used to be a lot of money.
I remember when ConAgra did the downtown campus in the late 80s, and the whole project was $60 million, and everyone talked about, oh, that's so big. That doesn't even get you 10% of a Mutual Omaha skyscraper nowadays.
Isn't that amazing?
That is. Now, we still have not received word from Mutual exactly how tall this thing's going to be, but all indications are it will likely be the tallest building in the city, or if not, pretty darn close.
Well, it sounds like Lanahaw Development will be the head of the redevelopment of the current Mutual Omaha campus. There's been a lot of talk about whether those buildings will be repurposed or torn down. They're older buildings. Great location along Dodge Street. You got a lot of land there. The city's going to end up with the parking garages. And it sounds like the city's going to buy those. Was it $59 million or something like that? There's 3 parking garages. And right now, I believe that if you go to Midtown Crossing, I think it's just you get the first 2 or 3 hours for free.
Oh, for parking.
And it'll be interesting to see if they charge for the first couple hours after this.
You might have to.
That's always been a kind of a neat thing about Midtown Crossing. They certainly put a lot of parking in there, and it'll be neat to see what happens to that campus, though.
Well, and there's already a lot of activity around that area. The Blackstone Plaza building is coming along. Eventually, WWT is moving into that building, and so the current WWT building will come down and be replaced with multi-story stuff. Plans call for some of those surface parking lots in that area to be filled. For instance, construction, or at least prepping for construction and demolition, is now underway on the surface parking lot west of the Kimpton Cottonwood Blackstone Hotel. And that's going to be a 9-story mixed-use building with a city-owned parking garage. There is a small multi-tenant building that has to come down, but the concrete barriers are up in place. So that project, which will be monumental for the Blackstone district, is well underway now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we got a personal tour of Blackstone Plaza, 16-story building from John Lund, who's leading that group, and it is beautiful. It is Spencer Morrissey in our office, and I put a architectural firm on the 12th floor, and that was where
Good view.
Yeah, that was where the Plaza Club was. If you remember that, ladies and gentlemen, that was they had a kitchen, and it was a great restaurant for Kiewit executives and other people. And there's a small elevator, also known as a dumbwaiter, that goes up to the cloud room, which is top notch. They redid that. It's got 360-degree views with a balcony around it, and it was pretty sharp. That's the building where Suzanne Walter Scott lived for a number of years when he ran Kiewit, and then Kiewit bought the Blackstone, and that's hallowed ground over there. Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway still in.
I say there's a famous guy who has an office in that building.
Yeah, and then there's still room for lease, and if you call me, and I'll represent you, and I know John Lund's weaknesses, or at least some of them, and we can make it a great deal.
Oh, so you'll go toe to toe with him in the lease negotiations
again?
Okay, and with that, it'll be very cool. Also, when we make movement on the streetcar going up and down that corridor, so you'll basically see kind of a linear downtown along Farnham Street, because there'll be so much investment with pretty high density by Omaha standards buildings.
Well, on the Grow Omaha show, it'll be fun to chart the progress of the streetcar.
Absolutely, and we will continue to do that. Well, let's look a little further to the west. Last week, if you were with us on Grow Omaha, we had Rachel Jacobson. She is the head of Heritage Omaha, the amazing philanthropic organization whose work and performances it's basically unprecedented. There's no other organization quite like it in the country.
No question.
At any rate, she was talking last week about this amazing Central Library project. Well, yesterday, the renderings for that project were released, And it's beautiful. This is going to be a very large building on the southwest corner of 72nd and Dodge, replacing the Dew Space building. This will be one hell of a library.
Well, it'll be state of the art. I think they're going to have a robotic system for all their volumes and books and distribution and all that kind of stuff. And it'll complement the beautiful stuff that's going on over at Crossroads. And I think everybody will be happy with it. It'll take a few years to get built, but it'll definitely improve the core of our city.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how that all turns out and what it looks like. Well, Creighton University started tearing down Gallagher Hall. It's a 60-year-old residence hall, and it's on the far southwest corner of the Creighton University campus. In fact, if you can picture where the pedestrian bridge crosses the North Freeway, connecting the Atlas Apartments, formerly St. Joe Creighton University Medical Center, to the main part of Creighton campus. It was right there at the eastern foot of that bridge. So that's coming down, and for the short term, it'll be a parking lot, which no one likes surface parking lots in urban areas. But long-term plans call for either an academic or library-type building to go there. And one of the reasons they're doing that is they've got a really nice brand new residence hall under construction more on the other side of campus that is going to be geared towards freshmen. Also at Creighton University, construction is well underway on their health sciences education building, which is at North Freeway and Cumming Street. So that campus,
Clarence Warner Center.
So that campus, Trenton, really continues to transform.
So now we figure out how long naming rights. When you donate to Creighton, you only get 60 years of your family name on a building.
I know, but I don't know who Gallagher was. Maybe it was just an honorary name for someone at the university, perhaps, or maybe it was a donor. I don't know.
So when you're giving $10 million plus.
I know when I went to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, we had a lot of residence halls that were named after famous Nebraskans. Like there was Cather and Pound and Sandos. And not necessarily donors. They were named after famous Nebraskans.
Okay. Starkweather Hall.
I don't think he quite made the cut. Well, a major addition is in the planning stages at Omaha South High School. And there's a fundraising event or campaign. It's called Art in the Heart of South Omaha. It's being led by Thompson Rogers and Michael Yanni. The goal is to raise $15 million for a new art center. I've looked at all of the renderings for this thing. This will be beautiful. If you can, now some of you are probably more familiar with South High School than others, but if you can picture the school, 4519 South 24th Street, just north of 24th and L, a big, classic, old historic brown brick building. I think it's a very cool building. By the way, it is the largest high school in the state.
3,000 students.
Darn near. Yeah, I think it's like just a shade under 2,900. And
we probably had, when we went to Westside, graduated 87, there's probably 3,000 students.
No, 1,500.
Was it really?
Yeah, about 1,500.
I'm puffing.
But there were only 3 grades when you and I went to Westside.
That's a good point.
So it would have been a 2,000
that's
school.
a big high school.
If the freshmen were there, yeah. But now in Omaha, there are quite a few high schools. I think all 3 Millard schools are over 2,000. South obviously is. The West Side is close. I think one of the Papillion schools might be over 2,000. And then I don't know about Central or, I think that's usually pretty big, but Omaha South supposedly is the biggest. Neat. At any rate, South is also an arts and performing arts magnet school. So the idea here is to put this very significant arts center onto the southwest corner of the school. It would also create a new entrance to the building. And already, South High School has a very large auditorium. My daughter had a show choir thing there earlier this spring semester, and my mom and dad and I went to go watch it, and all 3 of us were just amazed about how big the auditorium was for a high school auditorium.
That's neat. South High is a beautiful place, and this will be a welcome addition.
Yeah, and then, of course, OPS has 2 new high schools opening this fall for the 2022-23 school year, one of which is Buena Vista at 60th and L, and the other one is Westview on 156th up around Ida, I think between Fort and Ida. So OPS will be a 9 high school district instead of a 7-1. So Trenton, let's see, one other thing I wanted to mention. Remember the old 24-hour fitness that was on the east side of 120th Street north of Blondo?
Stonegate.
That's right. That thing is going to become a 6-story apartment building, somewhat in the spirit of the Swivel Apartments. The Swivel Apartments recently opened just east of the Crossroads. They took an old furniture store and basically converted it into a 5 or 6-story apartment building. That's the story with this old 24-hour fitness on North 120th Street.
Also J Development?
I don't necessarily remember the developer, but I'm not sure. I don't think it's J Development.
They're doing that. They're doing the Cove. Is it Clove? Clove.
Yes. That is closer to Children's Hospital.
They did Centerline Apartments at 72nd and Center.
I could be wrong, and if I am,
maybe a different developer.
I proactively apologize, but I think it's a different developer.
Okay.
Anyway, the fitness club is 40,000 feet. It'll be incorporated into it. So, hey, there'll be some great amenities for an apartment building. And then the extra floor plate that they'll need to have a big apartment complex with 150 market rate apartments will take part of the parking lot.
Great.
So that is your development news of the week, which is brought to you, as always, by Eagle Mortgage. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. Going to take our first break of the hour, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some very prestigious rankings that Omaha has received, 2 of them, as a matter of fact, and they might even surprise you. One of them won't surprise you. One of them will surprise you. At any rate, stay tuned for that and much more coming up in the show. You're listening to Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Do you think we'll get any listener complaints from the Stark Weather Hall?
Yeah, that one can get a call. When he said Stark Weather Hall.
Oh, yeah. We shouldn't laugh about that, ladies and gentlemen. He was a mass murderer.
John Joubert Pavilion.
We can't wait to serve you. Now open at 180th and Dodge.
Nico Jenkins Plaza.
Yeah, the what? Jenkins family.
Nico Jenkins Plaza.
Yeah, we're definitely going to help.
Maybe we should just stop.
11% off everything.
I noticed this week that after being temporarily closed for over 3 years, the Jiffy Lube at Saddle Creek and Leavenworth was torn down.
Oh, I saw that. We should mention that when we come back.
Also,
Breaking news from Roger
Shimmelin. Do you know that?
Let's talk about that in segment 3.
Okay. That. Sorry to ruin for the 10 viewers.
Schimmel SCH?
What's that?
Schimmel SCH? Or
SCH, yeah.
SCH. 2 M's?
Yeah. Hate to run it for the 10 viewers on YouTube that didn't listen to the show today.
Actually, YouTube gets, a lot of them will watch through the website.
That's true.
Yeah, so the YouTube numbers are surprised.
Oh, and we don't get credit on YouTube?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
So if you see there are only like 28 views of this on YouTube, I'm sure there are thousands of this on growomaha.com.
We gotta hire some bots in Indonesia or something. These ladies are.
I only want real people like these guys that are watching.
That's true. We don't purists.
We don't need no stinking bots. We've got the 20 or 30 people that are watching it for real. We're proud of those people.
Yeah.
Save up to 25%.
Of course, there's up to 15,000 plus listening now,
Cards issued by Celtic Bank.
which will be then when you watch this video.
That's true. The terrestrial radio show does have. Well, it's not just terrestrial because a lot of people listen on iHeartMedia.
Gives you cash back
and
with every purchase.
They also listen over the air live.
In your pocket. Plus, total
Still has
control
still,
over
Same thing.
still the most.
And Ramp's
Still the
integrated
most.
software lets you close your books in hours
is
instead
still
of
the
days.
most.
Time is money. Save both with Ramp. Now
Actually,
for
the over-the-air
$250
signal
when you join Ramp for
is by
free.
far
Just go to ramp.com
greater than anything on streaming or online stuff, I'm sure.
RAMP.com/join.
A factor in that is that Saturday,
Yeah.
because people are mobile
Yeah.
on Saturday and listen, whereas
Some people just leave it on KFAB and never change the
well,
channel.
that's true too.
Which KFAB encourages.
When some, during the week, if your show's, say, on during the week, which people be listening to their desk.
That's on, yeah. On that, then they would be streaming it more likely. I know a lot of people listen to us while working out.
Yeah.
It's ironic because I got my fast food up here. Didn't do any working out this morning.
I got my D&M roofing.
One thing that so many first connect him to.
Yeti.
It's the Rosie DiGenosi on the podcast page under Jim Rose at KFAV.com.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals sitting next to Trenton Magid. And we are here to share news about the growth and development of your favorite city. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Trenton has his D&M Roofing and Siding Yeti mug right here that he's drinking out of. Did you get that because they did your roof?
No, I got it because Eric Oberon comes into the studio every once in a while, and he's a great guy.
Yeah, at any rate, we highly recommend D&M Roofing.
Ice will stay in here.
You got to talk in the microphone.
This Yeti D&M Roofing cup is as solid and strong and long-lasting as the roof from D&M Roofing.
I wonder which one would last longer. I'd go with the roof. Even though the Yeti gets a lot less abuse from hail, rain.
I can't drop my roof. I know that.
At any rate, dandmroofing.com, dandmroofing.com. All right, we got some very cool rankings for Omaha just within the last week. First of all, this one will not surprise you. Omaha was rated highly as a best place to start your career. This is according to Wallet Hub. Wallet Hub examined the 182 largest cities in the United States.
Stiff competition.
Yeah, it is. And we came in 36th out of 182. So percentage-wise, that's pretty good. And the study considered 27 metrics that ranged from availability of entry-level jobs to monthly average starting salary to housing affordability. So Salt Lake City ended up being number 1. North Las Vegas, Nevada was last, number 182. We already told you Omaha was 36th, but everyone likes to know, how do we stack up? So let's look at some of the cities in our region, and I'll go in order from best to worst in our region. Number 11, Minneapolis. Number 19, St. Louis. Wow, St. Louis doesn't rank very highly in very many things, so I'm sure they're happy about that.
Yep.
Number 23, Overland Park, Kansas. Number 24, Denver. As I said, number 36, Omaha. Number 45, Des Moines, Iowa. Number 50, Colorado Springs. Number 55, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Number 62, Kansas City. Number 72, Lincoln. Number 77, St. Paul, Minnesota. Number 85, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And, okay, get a load of this. Number 108 was Chicago. And then number 135, Wichita.
How many metrics
Wichita?
were there? How many metrics?
27 metrics.
I bet you if there's 28 metrics, the 28th being the best zoo, we would have been ranked number 7.
Yeah.
It would have skewed it that much.
And if the 29th one was best local business radio show, probably up right around
Economic
first.
development, with slant towards commercial real estate, radio show, we would have been way up.
So on with the one that will
There would have been a
surprise
lot
you.
of disqualifications on that one because they don't have such a show.
They don't got one. Okay, there was another rating that just came out from the same organization, Wallet Hub, and Omaha ranked the exact same spot, number 36. This, though, was among the nation's 100 largest metro areas on, are you ready for this? 2022's best summer travel destinations.
Heck yes.
So out of a top 100 metros, Omaha came out number 36 for best summer. Now, notice it didn't say best winter travel destination. It said best summer travel destination. Metro areas were ranked according to 43 indicators related to travel cost, hassles, local costs, attractions, and weather. No zoo. You just can't get off the zoo thing.
We have a zoo.
Orlando, Florida, number 1. Phoenix came in last, probably because it's hotter than hell.
Wow.
In Phoenix in the summer. It is miserable.
It ranked high on the winter destination.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Phoenix is one of my favorite places to go. In the time of year, that's the opposite of this time of year. But in the winter, I love Phoenix. Not so much now. Anyway, Phoenix dead last. So again, everyone wants to know the ratings around here. And doggone that pesky Minneapolis. They came in first, again, in the regional stuff at number 8. So Minneapolis, number 8. Oklahoma City, 16. St. Louis, 20. Denver, 37. Omaha was 36. Wichita, Kansas 40, Chicago 44, Kansas City 62, and Des Moines, Iowa number 90. So good place to come to Omaha. Omaha's a good place to come this summer.
Absolutely.
And you could go, as Trenton indicated, to see the zoo. And next year, was it next year or the year after, when you come for your travel destination Omaha summer vacation?
Kiewit Illuminarium.
That's right. You could visit Kiewit Illuminarium
Park.
And the new Gene Leahy Mall Park. So, all right, we're going to take our middle of the show break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some demolition coming to the 84th and Dodge area, and some demolition that's happened by the Med Center. And then we'll talk about some things that aren't related to demolition. Lots to come. Don't miss any of it. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Everyone says they like working with their local company. Then it comes time to get that home loan. Just the biggest investment most of us ever make. And they grab their phone and start playing with...
Oh, okay. I think we were talking about this.
Don't. Contact Holly and her
that was from a long time ago.
staff right here in Omaha at Eagle Mortgage for your mortgage.
Starkweather Hall, inappropriate.
The national lenders on rates and service.
You're just lucky that 60 years have gone by. If that was fresher, you would have struck a nerve.
Or if we were Grow Lincoln.
Saturday at 10 a.m. to Everyday Wealth with Soledad O'Brien and Gene Chatsky on KFAB.
There is a show, Grow Lincoln.
Putting away your tools after that home
Inspired by us?
project? Where do you put those leftover materials?
They're still on.
Cabinets.
Yeah, still on. Yeah, they've been on.
Old appliances?
Always.
Send them to a landfill.
I think over 10 years now.
Yeah,
Been around a long time, yeah. I was their very first guest.
Where?
Grow Lincoln, yeah. They said that I was the inspiration. I'm sorry you didn't get included in that.
Really?
Yeah, they said I was the inspiration.
Street, south of
What time were they on?
north of 100.
I have no idea.
I haven't given her a lead. She didn't give me any referral.
Cut her off. Besides, we have NAI people in Lincoln. We can send the lead to them.
True.
Junk sleep got you down.
I don't know. I don't know whether. I think they're Saturdays.
I think so.
Maybe middle of the day. Maybe like noon or something
Yeah,
like
that
that.
kind of true.
Yeah, I think it's Saturdays.
during the best
Because I'm pretty sure when I was on, because I was on their show a couple times, and I think it was always, they always recorded my, I don't think it was live,
Victim of identity
on my part at least.
Half an hour.
Yeah, I think it's only half hour.
Selling your personal info
It's a third of metro population, so maybe the show should be more like 20 minutes.
monitors your
Yeah.
info and alerts you to potential.
Although we could easily fill 2 hours. Not that I want to take that much time out of our weekend, but we could easily fill 2 hours.
But with LifeLock, it's easy to help
You gotta
protect
keep them
yourself.
wanting more.
Save
Yeah,
up to
when they want
25%
more.
off your first year at LifeLock.com. With
Right.
promo
Survive
code
Lincoln.
NEWS. We see shows listeners don't like it bad.
Just kidding.
So to help you remember
Stay solvent, Lincoln.
customizes home insurance.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stay Solvent Lincoln.
Liberty Mutual customizes home insurance, so you only pay for it.
After Nebraska
I
football,
love Lincoln. I love Lincoln. I went to college there for 6 years, 2 of which were graduate school, by the way. I always have to throw that in there. I don't want people to think I was a 6-year senior.
We'll have to see how many people listen to or watch the YouTube. Maybe this will blow it up.
Probably not.
Do you have someone give you
All right.
no cost?
So,
Or
okay.
Lincoln. Thank God for Council Bluffs.
If not, you should.
Just kidding.
Hey, Council Bluffs is part of our. Council Bluffs is part of our listing
I'm
audience.
licensed.
Let us come take a look.
So for the Nodal report, we're going to talk about Monarch Place.
Okay.
Our experienced team will help
And,
you with the process. D&M has been a proud Omaha business.
It's gonna be a hell of a development.
Yeah.
Find us online at dnmroofing.com. That's D&M
Use a little more. They could use a little more detail though in this.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. Speaking at a state dinner in Seoul, President Biden made note of the strong bond between the militaries of the U.S. and South Korea. Our armed forces.
God, his AP had something come out. Was it yesterday that his approval rating for AP is down to 39%?
Yeah.
And that's the lowest he's been in that poll. There have been some other polls that have had it even lower than that.
Well, have you heard that? Yeah, I interviewed the Hunter Biden's laptop.
With a federal judge now blocking the
Just the stuff that was on there, like during the impeachment. What was the major
Very
reason?
entertaining.
Besides
It all comes
political, what was the major reason that Trump got impeached? Was it the Zelensky?
Oh, the
phone
first
call?
impeachment?
Yeah, what was it?
Yeah, it was the Ukraine thing. Yeah, it was the Ukraine.
Was he impeached twice?
Yeah.
Well, he was impeached twice, but convicted neither time. Right. It was the first time he was impeached because of that, and the second time was because of the role in the January 6th stuff.
But
I don't know. He brings a lot of it on himself.
Well, no question about it. But the amount of money and like Hunter Biden and his partners got like $11 million back then. It's all in this laptop, and it's got to be taken seriously at some point.
It'll be. I was just say entertaining, but that seems to kind of mitigate the importance. It'll be fascinating to see how it all plays out. Yeah.
But this guy that owned this center or whatever, he was denied unemployment benefits and stuff like that. I mean, the government went after him so hard. The guy that turned in the laptop.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't followed.
He made a copy of the hard drive and gave it to the FBI and stuff like that. Some interesting interviews.
Huh. No, I haven't followed that very well. I probably should. I've been so busy.
You get that right.
It's been crazy lately.
We went to a foreign taste last night. Very good.
It was good. Yeah,
144th and Fort.
There were 6 of us in our party.
Yeah.
It was good. I had the braised filet with root vegetables.
I had the fish of the day, grouper, delicious.
And Amy, what did you have?
Scallops and risotto.
Scallops and risotto. How were they?
Good.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
Stephanie had the seafood pazza, which was good, but it didn't quite measure up to what she thought it would be. But my filet was top notch.
I like the cocktails.
Yeah, the cocktails were good.
Yeah.
You guys got the prickly pear cactus cocktail, it was called. It was cactus something with prickly pear. You have to be careful when you say it. Prickly pear.
I'm not going to say that.
Prickly? Say
tequila and vodka.
Say prickly.
Prickly.
Pear. And tequila and lime. It was kind of like a prickly pear enhanced margarita.
Do you have baseball this weekend?
Jack does not, but I am PA announcing the reserve game, which is the freshmen.
All right.
Tomorrow. Yeah. We parents have to get in so many credits of service over the summer, and I'm trying to push mine all in.
Every parent has to?
The family of each kid has to have 7 volunteer things over the summer. So I'm doing.
If not, your kid doesn't play?
If not, you're not playing your part, doing your role.
You get shunned, ball of shape.
Or you just feel bad about yourself.
Did you see Scott Hazel posted the North Star? It looks like it was the lacrosse team.
Oh,
beat Westside 15-5.
So North Star has teams that play high schools?
Apparently.
Oh, that's cool. Well, they beat Westside because Westside's good at everything. Like when we play them in baseball, it's always tough.
Really?
Yeah. And then they're great in football and.
But it's funny because Scott Hazelrig, who's
Westside's good in everything.
Been on the school board forever. I don't think he still is anymore, is he?
I don't know.
All right, here we go.
And everything else. And went to Westside.
Hey, I went to Westside, and when we play them in baseball, I don't like them. They're the enemy.
Crossings, yet immigration attorney Nate Dallin says it could still get a lot worse. Hear our conversation on the Ian Swanson podcast link at KFAB.com.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid sitting in the KFAB penthouse studio high above Underwood Avenue. We're brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. You know, if you ever have the unfortunate incident that happens out on the roads and highways and your car gets dinged, I love that name.
Get it?
Dingman's. If your car gets dinged or worse, go to Dingman's. You get to pick where you take your car in the event of an accident. I know I was unfortunately in an accident, thankfully not my fault, a few years ago. And the tow truck came and said, where do you want to take this? And I just said Dingman's at 144th and Center. There was no question. And they did such a good job. They have 3 other locations around the metro area as well. And we recommend Dingman's Collision Center. All right, it's time for the Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight of the Week, brought to you by Noddle Companies. And this week, we're going to highlight a development planned for the southwest corner of 180th and West Dodge Road. It's going to be called Monarch Place. I'm sorry.
Broadmoor Hills apartment complex. It's been there a long time.
It's actually going to be called Monarch Market Park. Monarch Market Park. And this is going to be a very, very impressive thing. Multiple buildings. Like Trenton said, it's just east of the Broadmoor Apartments. It's north of about 3 office buildings where Lindsay Manufacturing and Sojourn and other tenants are located. It's immediately northwest of First Watch and Meatball, a couple restaurants that are right there, Foxy
Just west
Sushi.
of Village Point.
Yep, west of Village Point. And I'm looking at the rendering for this thing. There's more land there than you might think because I'm looking at multiple retail buildings. Plans call for a couple of office buildings, one of which looks like it'd be on the rendering about 6 stories tall. And so the efforts are underway to get this going. Not companies could handle tenants from as small as 1,000 square feet to as big as 40,000 square feet, maybe even bigger than that. And at any rate, that's going to be exciting. And so you think about it, that 180th and Dodge intersection is really beefing up because on the northeast corner, you have the biggest concentration of auto dealerships.
And Tommy's Express Car Wash.
And Tommy's Express Car Wash, also a convenience store right there. On the northwest corner, you've got CSG offices, some hotels, Pinnacle Bank Corp's headquarters, a couple car dealerships. A new Porsche dealership is under construction there. On the southwest corner, or on the southeast corner, you have all of the Village Point stuff.
So you got medical. So this is really a true mixed use, not only development but a mixed use. The area, the whole expanded area has everything you'd want. It's a good place to live.
And that is your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week. This week on Monarch Market Park, coming to 180th and Dodge by Noddle Companies. You can find out more about Noddle Companies simply by going to their website, which is noddlecompanies.com. And there you can find out information about their projects all over the country, but also there are multiple projects here in the metro area.
And not to mention, Jay Noddle was just named the president of the streetcar, what do they call it?
I think they're calling it the Streetcar Authority.
A streetcar authority, and he's put a lot of time and money in. He's head of the Urban Core Commission as well, which has gone on for about 4 years, which is a lot of work, so thank you for that service.
And we've got breaking demolition news. Trenton, a building that was an important part of your family for a long, long time, is going to be coming down.
Absolutely. Call it, 86th and Dodge on the south side. The Schimmel Inn, it was in my mom's family. It was one of the hotels, just like the Blackstone Hotel, which is now the Clinton Cottonwood Hotel. Many years it was the Methodist Nursing College, and Jeff would give speeches there and see the Schimmel family crest on the silverware.
That is true. I remember, and then knowing that that was my good buddy Trenton's family, I think I took a picture of one once and sent it to you.
So also, Children's Hospital owns that site now, and the reports are that they're going to tear it down. They don't have an immediate need for it, but they're looking at whether it should be a park or a playground or both. For the time being, grassy area and that kind of stuff along Dodge Street until they need it for expansion.
So the old Schimmel Indian Hills coming down. It was also, as Trenton said, Nebraska Methodist College. Nebraska Methodist is now on the north side of Dodge.
I think they buried the pool that's there, so they'll probably be having to take that out, a little
excavate the old pool.
Yeah, excavation.
That would be kind of cool to watch that.
They should put it back just like they did with the seals or at the zoo.
Yeah, it was an excavated city pool.
Yeah.
That turned for many years into a seal habitat until they opened the new seal habitat a couple of years ago. Also in demolition news, a Jiffy Lube on the corner of Leavenworth and Saddle Creek is coming down, and that is to make way for all sorts of construction that UNMC Nebraska Medicine have planned for the west side of Saddle Creek. The big showpiece over there will be the old Omaha Steelworks factory, which will be converted into an innovation center. Also on the west side will be a 16-story administrative tower for Nebraska Medicine that we expect to start construction or expect to see construction start still this year. So we'll keep our mind on that. Hey, here's a cool story. There's only been one astronaut from the state of Nebraska. Clayton Anderson is his name. I believe he's been on the show back many, many years ago. And, he spent 166 days in space, was stationed on the International Space Station, born in Omaha, grew up in Ashland, Nebraska, graduated from Hastings College before getting a master's degree over at Iowa State. At any rate, Clayton is going to be, and is now, the new president and CEO of the Strategic Air Command and Aerospace Museum in Ashland. What an appropriate role for Clay.
Oh, it's a perfect placement. Our friend and classmate Scott Hazelrig had that position for many years, and now runs North Star in North Omaha. So it's a fabulous place, and I'm sure that helped for the summer, the attractiveness for the best destination title for Omaha.
Trenton, I hope you are not trying to hire anyone right now, because it just came out that Nebraska has an unemployment rate now of 1.9%, which is the lowest ever recorded in history by a state. And it would be the only state to ever have that, except for that pesky Utah tied us. Doggone them. But Nebraska and Utah are tied at 1.9, both of which are the lowest unemployment rates ever in U.S. history.
I don't know if that's something to brag about or not.
I think it shows that people here work hard. I think and participate in the labor force. I think it also shows that we have a lot of economic activity and a lot of jobs. On the negative, though, it shows that we probably don't have enough people.
Well, and if you count second jobs and third jobs, that'd probably be a negative number.
Well, you know, the riverfront, the first park of the riverfront trio, which is the Gene Leahy Mall, that will be opening this year, has got a big celebration planned. So on July 2nd, right when the Gene Leahy Mall opens, country music star Brett Eldridge has a live performance that day. I have no idea who Brett Eldridge is, but I'm sure he's a pretty big deal. But at any rate, that'll be cool because they've got the band shell there, the big open grassy lawn. Every time I drive by the park now, as it's getting closer and closer to opening, it's looking more and more impressive.
Could you imagine if they did that, and if they have fireworks? Oh my God, Omaha is cuckoo for fireworks.
But who isn't? Everyone always says like, oh, Omaha loves their fireworks. What city doesn't love fireworks?
That's true. They also have they're going to have amazing light shows, I believe. If you look at that park, these big black boxes on top of these poles are going to be an amazing, I'm sure it's lasers and all kinds of stuff.
Probably kind of Disney-esque or something like that. At any rate, we're excited, and we'll keep our eye on the Gene Leahy Mall opening, the first of the 3 renovated riverfront parks. Heartland of America will be next year, and I think Lewis and Clark Landing will probably be about the same time. Also, big construction on Heartland of America Park this summer, as a massive crane is being assembled to install the Farnham Pier, which will be a big structure that will literally stick out over the railroad tracks and kind of over the bank of the Missouri River, an observation deck, if you will. So much to look forward to in those downtown riverfront parks. Last break of the hour right now. And when we come back, it's going to be your Turner Construction Lightning Round. I've got restaurants, retailers, and other stuff. So don't miss any of it. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. We'll be back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Oh, yeah.
Moving rapido.
What are you up to this afternoon? You have...
Casey's son has his birthday party this evening, so I'll be at her house. I'm just going to get stuff done around the house and maybe some work and a nap this afternoon.
Excellent. We're going to Momofuku.
Oh, when's your flight?
4:30.
And then what time do you land in Vegas?
5:30 probably.
What time's Momofuku reservations?
7:30. I've been there.
You've been there. You didn't like it though.
I didn't like the price for the value.
I love it.
It's just too expensive.
I know, but you go as a group.
It was good, but
was it just the 2 of you when you went?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because you're supposed to go to Momofuku with like 6, 8, 10 people. It's kind of, because that's kind of,
you share?
yeah, you share like the time I was there were probably about 10 of us, and they had a big carousel in the middle of the table, and they put, and so like we got that Wagyu beef that was over $100 just for the beef.
That.
But when there's 10 people, and it's one of the things, then because we got all this fish and all these Asian dishes, and
We'll have like 8. So.
you'll like it a lot better then.
Okay.
And then yeah, and it's a beautiful restaurant. And by the way, this is in the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas, in case you're wondering what we're talking about. But like I said, we had a big group of us there. It was a frickin' blast, and had a lot of good, strong Asian, Pan Pacific flavors.
We're going to another place on Monday, thanks to the local attorney. It's Cassie's Beach House.
Heard of it, but I've never been there.
Prior to an accident.
It's in, what was it, the Virgin Hotel?
Virgin Hotel.
I've heard of it. Cassie's Beach House, I've heard of that.
Can't picture it. Virgin Hotel.
Have you guys been to the? I can't remember. It's the resort. It's the casino resort right west of Cosmopolitan. Is that Aria? Catch, I think it's called, or Ocean.
I've heard of it.
It was so good. Good seafood place.
505 Monday to explain why Nebraska's economy is doing well in spite of President Biden's actions. Governor Rick, it's 505 Monday, only on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Maggot here, and we are so excited because it's time for the Turner Construction Lightning Round. That's when we go through a lot of topics in a short period of time. Thank you to Turner Construction for making this possible. We love them. They do such a great job with the local built environment. Trenton knows that I love that term, the built environment. Absolutely. Because Turner Construction is building big things and little things and medium things all over the metro area. Great place to work if you are looking for a job in the trades, and if you are making decisions about a project, a development, a new building, talk to Turner Construction. You could be very, very proud of the finished product that they will deliver when the construction is complete. Turner Construction bringing you the lightning round today. All right, let's go through a few things real fast. Voodoo Taco is now open near 180th and Center. Mouth of the South has opened its second location in the Old Market. A Casey's General Store is under construction on the northwest corner of 204th and Vinton. That's just southwest of 204th and Center. It's part of the Pravada development. Rally House plans to open a store next to Bath & Body Works and Old Navy at Metro Crossing in Council Bluffs. We already, a few weeks ago, announced Rally House opening in Shadow Lake Town Center.
Sounds like a restaurant, but it's clothing.
Yeah, they sell officially licensed sports stuff, so you could get your Kansas City Chiefs or your Chicago Cubs shirt or what have you, one of those types of places. And so they're blowing up all over over the area. So Trenton, so many listeners in the last week have said, what is going on at 144th and Center in the parking lot of that former Shopko store? And it's going to be a
QT, Quick Trip
gas station convenience store.
They paid like $2 million for that land. It's not the easiest thing to get to.
Well, a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen inside that Shopko. Have we heard anything?
And a lot of people say, why would they want to compete with the Anderson Food Mart, Anderson Convenient Mart right at 140th and Center, which is a full access light there right across from Oakview Mall and well established.
Well, and I think the answer to that,
I pick favorites.
I think the answer to that question is there are so many gas station C stores that want into the market that they're fighting, for spots. And if one of them has to take a spot that's not as good as another, well, then they'll do it just because there's so much traffic and there's so much growth in the Omaha area that they all want a spot.
Posers.
Interior build-out is underway on Moots Pizza on the north side of Countryside Village. If you're wondering what Moots Pizza has started...
It's fire-kissed.
Yeah, you must have seen that in the newsletter.
Well, I knew that before you wrote it.
Fire-kissed pizza, according to the newsletter. They started out as a food truck. You know how they say that businesses that start out online and go to bricks and mortar were digitally native? And
right.
So should this be like mobile native or
right. I like it.
Tires and wheels native, truck native, at any rate?
Yeah.
One of those things.
Let's just say they're taking the wheels off.
There you go. Hale Varsity Club has opened in Southport West in La Vista. So that is up and running, a sports bar with a Husker theme, if you will. The walls are going up on the Hy-Vee plan for 192nd and Highway 370 in Gretna. And then here's a new thing coming to Midtown. Lyle's Pizzeria and Wine Bar is coming to a small building at 5213 Leavenworth. The company's Facebook page says it'll have pizza, salads, a wine bar, and a patio.
Who would have thought 6 months ago, and it was happening then too, all these restaurants, new restaurants to the market, new locations for existing restaurants. People are growing at the end of a pandemic, and it was in the middle of a pandemic, and it's hard to get employees. and construction cost is high, but these restaurateurs are diehard.
Yeah, when you think about for the last couple of years, we put this news agenda together every week, and we always have a lot of restaurant and retail during this lightning round. There has never, knock on wood, never been a week in the last 2 years in which we've had trouble finding content for this lightning round. There are just so many different restaurants and things going in. Now, there was talk that where this Lyle's Pizzeria is going, some people were thinking a Mexican restaurant out of Lincoln that's quite popular might be going there, but it's going to be this Lyle's Pizzeria and wine bar. So Starbucks is planned to be built in Cherry Hills. That's an area near Blair High Road and Interstate 680, southwest corner. This will be right on the corner of 103rd and Blair High Road, 2,721 square foot freestanding building. My guess is it's the exact same freestanding Starbucks building that they're building all over the country.
So this is on the Cherry Hills Shopping Center side.
Yes. Yeah. So there's if you can picture
the south side.
Yeah, the south side of Blair High Road. There is a Zesto ice cream there.
Yeah.
There's a cool restaurant called WD Cravings.
Yeah.
There's also a pretty good pizzeria in that area that people really like. So this will be
Legends is there.
Closer to the actual street there. And my guess is it'll probably look, there was that Starbucks that NP Dodge that we put in front of the NP Dodge headquarters at 86th and Dodge. Probably looked like something like that. There was one of those that just opened recently at 90th and Fort. That seems to be the model that Starbucks is using for freestanders now. So anyway, that's it for this week. We really appreciate you joining us, and we've enjoyed spending our Saturday morning with you. But until next week, I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggin.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by NAI, NP Dodge, Dingman's Collision Center, D&M Roofing, and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.